I was taken to the federal court building, and the U.S. Marshal came in sipping his coffee, and he's like, "I don't know what I'm gonna do with you now. Like, I don't know where to take you. Like,
what are we supposed to do with you?"
Well, it's 2006.
Yep, 2006. So it ended up taking me to United States Penitentiary, Marion Supermax, and they took me and transferred me there before I was even tried. I was
still
Now
pre-trial.
you're facing multiple charges.
Yeah, so
because escaping and escape plus the charges.
It was so now like pre-trial, you don't go to federal prison until after you're convicted.
Right.
But since
you were never even tried, you never even saw a court date.
But the judge, they went to the judge, and the judge agreed, like, well, we got to do something, so we're gonna lock him in supermax prison at Marion, Illinois, and he'll be there, and we'll just have him in a separate wing where the guards can watch him all day.
Wow.
And that's where I was. And then fortunately for me, they shut Marion down.
Attorney. We're going to find out more about him. I love people who fire attorneys. Attorneys suck.
Welcome back to Meet Unshackled here at Benzinga, Miami, 2024. Max US.
So we are introducing some of the wonderful people that we're meeting here today, and today we're going to introduce you to Bosco.
Bosco, that's me.
All right.
Yeah. How you doing?
I'm good, bro.
Chasing Freedom is now a Peacock original film. Is it the name of the film and the name of the book?
The name of the film is Bosco.
Okay.
Bosco. Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
and it's based on the book Chasing Freedom.
You were the first movie star I've gotten. Well, yeah. No, you're the first movie star I've been.
Movie producer.
Movie producer. You didn't star in the film?
I got a cameo.
Okay, so you're a movie star. Whatever. You're the movie. This is me with a movie star.
So we could talk about your journey, but why don't you tell us about your experience? Because this is a great story. I mean, it's not a great story. It's a story.
It's a real story.
It's a real story.
Yeah.
It's an important story.
Very important story.
Great.
I mean, we could help save people the time of listening and just tell them just buy the book.
Buy the book.
Chasing Freedom.
Chasing Freedom.
But I'll give you guys some detail, a little bit about the book, so we can kind of encourage them to go buy the book. Right.
Yeah.
All right, so my story is I'm from Compton, California. In 2004, I was arrested for attempting to possess marijuana.
Attempting to possess marijuana.
How old were you?
I was 28.
Okay.
At 20 in 2004, you're 28?
28, yeah.
You look good, man.
I reversed. It's like you go to...
He's got the Benjamin Button
once
thing.
you hit 40, you start going backwards. I think that's... So
yes, you're,
there's hope
you're 48
for me.
now.
Yeah.
Wow, you look good. I thought you were like 20 or something.
In human years, I would be 48, but since I reversed backwards, you know...
So 2004.
I'm actually down to, I think, 12 years old now.
Okay. Let's eat some cereal.
No, you look good. 2004, you're 28 years old. You're hanging out. You got arrested for...
attempting to possess cannabis.
What is that?
How do they get you on that? It's like, hey, I want to buy something. They're like, you're going to jail.
It's kind of like that.
Really?
Yeah, exactly. Where it was a reverse sting, and undercover federal agents were posing as drug dealers and drug traffickers.
So they didn't actually give you anything?
No.
Let him tell the story.
Oh, no, but I'm just, because it's
let him tell the
bullshit.
story.
No, how much were you attempting to buy?
What happened?
It was a lot.
Okay, so you were like trying to buy weight.
Weight.
It wasn't
yeah.
like a dub sack. It wasn't like a
Nah,
nickel
it
bag.
wasn't like a dime bag. Or
Okay.
that. It was a whole lot of
Okay, so what
marijuana.
happened?
And when I showed up to pick up the cannabis and do the deal, they arrested me. I never saw it.
But they never gave it to you.
Yeah, I don't even know if it was there.
Right.
Shit, it could have been some parsley.
So why were they targeting you?
So they actually were posing as truck drivers, and they were actually targeting the person who was actually selling the marijuana, and they were attempting to take him down. So what happened was you had some guys in McAllen, Texas, who were distributing cannabis.
Okay. Were they really distributing cannabis?
They were really distributing
Okay, they were really
cannabis.
distributing cannabis.
And one of their drivers or whatever got arrested and started cooperating with the feds, and then he brought some other guys to them and said, okay, you know, I'm kind of not in the condition to be driving, so from now on, these guys are going to be driving your loads of marijuana.
Okay.
And these two guys happen to be undercover federal agents who was driving and transporting marijuana for these guys, and just so happened the unfortunate day that I decided to do a deal with these guys, they decided it was time to take down.
Really?
And so when
so they drove a truck.
Yeah, he's still telling his
no,
story.
but I'm just trying to wrap my head because this is. But they drove a truck from McAllen, Texas, all the way to Los Angeles.
Yes, this happens all the time.
For a fake drug deal.
Illinois, exactly.
Okay, but you met them in Illinois. Okay.
No, they drove it to Illinois.
To Illinois.
I flew from LA to Illinois.
Holy shit.
To where I was going to be.
And you were going to drive the truck back?
No, I was going to actually sell the marijuana in the Midwest area, in Illinois and St. Louis, right at the border.
Okay, so what happened next?
And so when I pulled up, and they had it in a van, and when I got inside the van, they gave me the key to the van, and they just looked at me as I walked to the van, and when I got inside the van, and I turned the thing, it was like nothing happened. Like,
right?
And I'm like,
what's going on?
This doesn't seem right. I turned it one more time and like, oh no, this is a setup.
Yeah.
And when I went to get out the van, and next thing you know, a bunch of cops swarmed in.
Who else was arrested? Just you?
No, me and a couple other guys who were with me.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So what happened after that?
We were taken into custody. And found out that when we went to court 2-3 days later, we found out that these so-called truck drivers were actually undercover agents.
Okay.
And we were indicted and charged with possessing 100 kilograms of cannabis.
So you never saw the 100 kilograms?
Never saw it.
Okay.
So it could have been in the van, or it could not have been in the van. But
they just told you it was there.
Yeah.
Okay, so then what happened next?
Well, everybody, you know, the process, everybody start telling. I'm the only one who's not snitching. My two co-defendants, they're like, it was his.
It was all him.
So they pointed at you?
Yeah,
that's some bullshit.
Even though they were the ones who were ones who could. I didn't even know these guys. It was some Mexicans who were transporting it. These guys that I'm dealing with were Mexican marijuana dealers, and they made it seem like I was the person, the big guy, but they were the ones who I was getting it from them, you know.
Okay,
Mike?
so you went to Rain. You were what's wrong?
No, he wants him to move his mic a little closer.
Yeah, move your mic a little closer. So you were
there.
You were arraigned. You had to plead. What happened?
I arraigned. I pleaded not guilty.
Right.
And
federal charge, state charge.
Federal.
Okay, yeah, federal charge.
Okay.
You're in Illinois.
Yep,
okay.
in the Southern District of Illinois.
Southern District of Illinois, U.S. Attorney's on top of you. You pled not guilty?
Yeah.
Or you pled guilty? What'd you plead?
Not guilty.
Okay, then what happened?
After that, they started setting a trial date, and the trial date just kept getting continued. And
you were in custody at this time?
Yeah, I was in custody.
Did you have any priors?
Yeah, I had prior.
Okay,
I had a prior
how
drug.
could they keep you in custody?
Because they considered me to be a flight risk.
That's it, a flight risk.
Yeah.
Okay, but then you had a prior drug conviction.
Yeah, I had a prior drug conviction. I had a prior assault that happened when I was a juvenile, when I was 17 years old, and I had a prior drug conviction.
That's it?
Yeah.
And they determined you a flight risk?
Yeah. Because I was from California and I was arrested in Illinois, and they said I was flight risk.
Okay, you're a public defender at this point.
Yep,
federal
public defender.
Federal
public defender.
So lame. Okay, so 2004.
I love the fact that you're an expert.
No, I know exactly. I know the process.
No, I know you do. So you're breaking this down to yourself.
So 2004, 2000. Then what happened? You went to trial. No, it kept being pushed back, which is what they do.
So what happened was, I ended up retaining another attorney. I started just firing attorneys at the time because I actually retained an attorney, and she turned out to be miserable. She wasn't what I expected, so I fired her. And also, so you have me and two other co-defendants that's on the case, and they started cooperating. And so when you got three different co-defendants, two different co-defendants, like everybody's date has to coincide. The attorneys, the judge, the court has to be open and everything. So nobody could seem to come upon a good date for the trial to start. And this attorney I had would just be going along with continuances without even consulting me.
How long are you in custody now for?
I was in custody for maybe about 2-3 months.
Wow.
Okay.
Before seeing your court date.
Well, I never
hang on.
I never saw my judge, the actual judge, until 2 years after I was in custody, after I escaped, and that's when he decided he wanted to see me. He would just grant continuances from the government. Whoever was asking for continuance, he would grant them, and I never appeared in this courtroom. But before all that, like while I'm stuck in there, and after the first continuance, and I'm facing life without parole, my statutory max for my crime was 10-year minimum maximum of life.
For 100 pounds plus.
For 100 kilograms more with the one prior drug offense.
Wow.
Had I not had the prior drug offense, which was $20 worth of cocaine that I got caught with when I was 19 years old, if I hadn't had that, then it would have been 5 to 40 years. But since I had that one prior conviction, it enhanced my statutory minimum from 10 years to life.
Wow.
These laws are still in place, and it's
They're
fascinating.
still in.
You guys were the great entrepreneurs that we celebrate now.
Right.
So keep going.
And so, rewind back a little bit. At the time that I got arrested, I found out that my ex-girlfriend, whom I'd broken up with 3 weeks earlier, and we vowed to never talk to each other again, that she was pregnant.
Okay. That adds a whole other world to it.
Yep.
And so there I was, about to spend possibly the rest of my life behind bars, and I was about to be a father. And when I grew up without my father. My father was one of the original Compton Crips. He ran the streets. He wasn't really involved in my life. And I would see him every now and then up until the age I was 8 or 9. And by the time that happened, he went to prison.
Wow.
He went to prison for murder, and I never saw him again. He ended up doing his time and passing away. And so now I'm in this cell, and I'm thinking, okay, I could die inside of prison, and who would I be remembered as?
Right.
I would be the guy who went to prison like my father, had a child, wasn't there for the child, passed away, repeating the cycle.
Right. It's the self-fulfilling prophecy of cycles, which is fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I always felt like I could obtain more in life.
Right.
Yeah.
Even if it was being a big drug dealer like Miami Vice or some shit. You know what I'm saying? And just traveling the world with tons of money. I knew that it wasn't meant for me to just die in prison and be a loser. So I started feeling like I was a loser.
Okay.
And the only way for me to escape that feeling of being a loser was by trying to get home to be a father.
So what'd you do?
Even if it meant breaking out of prison and going to Cuba and just hiding out over there.
Is that what you did? Wait.
That's what I was going to do.
Okay.
Keep interrupting him. Keep going.
All right, that was the plan. The plan was, I'm finna break out of
where are you in
prison.
custody at?
I was in custody in the St. Clair County Jail in Southern Illinois.
Okay, and your plan was to get out of jail?
The plan was to escape prison. I had a hacksaw blade smuggled inside the jail, and I cut out one of the bars in my cell, and I went to try to escape, and a friend of mine told me, look, you should take somebody with you. This is a guy from around here, and, you know, he knows the area, he knows the streets, he can get a ride and help things out for you. So I agreed. The guy came inside the cell. I told him, like, look, I just cut this bar out. We can leave at any minute now. You got the ride. You know the area. Let's do this. He said, hold on 1 minute. Let me go down to my cell. I want to pack my stuff. He went downstairs and he started banging on the windows and told the cops that I was trying to break out of prison.
What the hell?
That sucks.
Yeah, so I was caught. They placed me in solitary confinement.
Ouch. And you were being held without bond at this point?
Held without bond at this point.
And now you're held without bond in solitary
In solitary confinement.
Then what happens?
And so now it's like, hey, shit, I'm definitely not, you know, it's going to be difficult to get out now. So now my only way to get out now really is by escaping.
Right.
So now I got to the point to where my attorneys and everybody kept continuing. I'm like, well, go ahead, continue all you want, because the longer you continue, the more time you're going to give me to plan an escape. Okay. So in solitary confinement, I start planning my next escape.
Nice.
And I managed to, I'm not going to give too many details because I want people to read this book.
Read the book.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But I planned my next escape. It was a brilliant one.
Nice.
I ended up,
It was a brilliant one.
I ended up pulling off some magical stuff, and I ended up getting caught. Just leave it there.
Outside or inside?
Yes, I got caught.
So you got out.
I got caught.
The magical escape will be shared in the movie and the book.
In the book.
Now that you're outside,
I got caught, and after this second time, the United States Marshal declared me an extreme escape risk, and they transferred me to another prison. Now, this prison was in Alton, Illinois. It was a federal detention center.
What year was this now?
This was 2006.
2000. Okay,
well,
2 years later.
Actually, November 2005 is when they transferred me to the facility in Alton.
Okay.
And this was this high-tech prison where there was cameras everywhere.
Right.
Just high-tech, like the doors didn't open without two people pressing buttons. It was like
wow,
very high-tech jail. It was
maximum security type stuff.
Yeah, it was inescapable according to them. And so they locked me in a cell, 24 hours a day.
Right.
And inside of this cell, they had a camera. And they would watch me around the clock to make sure that I wouldn't try to escape again. And I couldn't come out of this cell for anything except Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. They would come shackle me or handcuff me. Then they would put leg shackles on my ankles, and they would take me down the hallway and put me inside of this shower. And they would leave the shackles on my ankle, and they would just uncuff this and give me a bar of soap.
Oh my God.
And they would be standing there, and I got 5 minutes to do my little shower thing, and they would cuff me back up, and they would take me down.
Did you like moon the camera every once in a while?
I thought about it, but I just didn't want to give off the wrong message, you know. Sometimes a moon in a prison can mean something else.
Yes, it can.
You know, so I was like, we didn't want
We can laugh about this now. Okay, so then what happened?
And so
I want to get up to the point where you fired your attorney, but keep
we'll
fast forward.
We got some long ways there. It's a lot to this story, and so what I did is
did you escape from the maximum security?
I escaped from there.
What? Okay, that's the magic. We won't
tell how that happened.
You're going to tell me personally here in a second.
Yeah, I escaped. I got away. I was gone. One day they came around and they saw that there was an empty. Well, actually, there was something dangling from a vent outside of the prison, and somebody saw it and went in there and like, you know, you guys got something dangling outside that vent right there. And the guy working the prison, he instantly thought, fuck, Quante, ran up to my cell, started banging on the door, telling me to wake up.
And you were gone?
Yeah, it was a dummy in the bed. So he just kept banging, wake
like
up, I'm going to come in there.
Alcatraz, Escape from Alcatraz.
Holy shit.
I love it. Like Shawshank Redemption.
He went inside the cell. They went in there and they went and pulled the cover back, and it was a bag of feathers. But no, it was the dummy in the bed. So yeah, I escaped. I got away. I was later. They started calling me Houdini then.
Okay.
Right.
Said that I can escape from anywhere. I was later captured and taken.
What state were you captured in?
In the state over in Missouri. I didn't get too far. I didn't move states too far, but I was caught in Missouri. I was taken to the federal court building, and the U.S. Marshal came in sipping his coffee, and he's like, I don't know what I'm gonna do with you now. Like, I don't know where to take you. Like,
what are we supposed to do with you?
It was 2006.
Yep, 2006. So they ended up taking me to United States Penitentiary, Marion Supermax, and they took me and transferred me there before I was even tried. I was
still pre-trial.
Now you're facing multiple charges.
Yeah, so
because escape plus the charges.
It was so now like pre-trial, you don't go to federal prison until after you're convicted.
Right.
But since
you were never even tried, you never even saw a court date.
But the judge, they went to the judge, and the judge agreed, like, well, we got to do something, so we're gonna lock him in supermax prison at Marion, Illinois, and he'll be there, and we'll just have him in a separate wing where the guards can watch him all day.
Wow.
And that's where I was. And then fortunately for me, they shut Marion down. And they made it a medium. So when they shut it down, they had to take me out of there. But eventually it took me four and a half years to eventually go to trial.
Wow. 4.5 years.
Yeah.
That's a note to self. People don't understand how broken the civil and criminal justice systems are. 4.5 years. That's not that typical, but it's usually 1, 2, 3. It's just ridiculous.
That is essentially 2029.
Oh, so you're that, and it's a trick prosecutors use to get you to plea out. They just keep
wear
you in jail.
down in the jails. Yeah.
So you, 4.5 years later, you go to trial. Yeah. What happens?
And so my charges at this time, because they were tacking on charges, they tacked on a money laundering charge for some postal money orders that I sent with some marijuana money that wasn't even really related to this reverse thing. Because once they get you in there now,
they just start
investigating anything. Oh, he sent some money orders from this state to this state. What were that for?
Hey, you made a phone call.
Let's go track down the people who cashed them.
So you got a bunch of charges.
Yeah.
You go to trial 2010.
No, I went to trial 2008.
2008, yeah, 4 years later.
July 2008, we're arrested in January 2004.
You get jury trial, judge trial?
Jury trial.
Jury trial.
Yeah, jury trial. And so I had one charge was conspiracy to possess and distribute 100 kilograms or more of cannabis. Another one was possession of 100 kilograms or more of cannabis, all the same cannabis, and then money laundering. And then now with 3 escape charges.
Yeah.
And so I pled guilty to the escape charges. I'm like, okay, yeah, I did them. We don't need to be parading people in there for that. And I went to trial on the 3 charges: possession, conspiracy, and money laundering.
Yeah.
And the jury found me not guilty on the conspiracy, but found me guilty on possession and money laundering. And so I filed an appeal.
Why didn't your attorney suggest to you to take the stand and admit to the escape but deny the other ones? Because it would make you look like more of an honest man.
I did. I took the stand. They didn't want me to, but I took the stand, and I admitted to the escapes, and I denied the conspiracy. And I had another argument for the possession, but the attorney didn't argue, which really dropped the ball. So I got found guilty on the possession and the money laundering. On appeal, they reversed the money laundering. I was arguing the possession too, because my argument that it wasn't possession, it was
you never had possession. Yeah.
So so you got sentenced?
I got sentenced to 35 years.
Okay, that was in 2000.
I got sentenced the end of 2008, December 2008,
which is about 16 years ago.
Yeah.
So how are you sitting here right now?
Magic. I pulled off my greatest escape, and I taught myself the law. I fired my attorney, represented myself, and I won and got granted immediate release. Not appealed collateral. I filed a collateral post-conviction motion.
Post-conviction relief?
Yep. To vacate my sentence.
When did you file that?
I filed it in December 2019. The judge granted it July 2020.
2020, you were granted post-conviction relief. Okay. And so you got out.
July 2020.
What did they do on the post-conviction relief?
She vacated my sentence.
The whole thing?
Yeah.
They didn't, what's the word for when you reverse the...
Reverse and remand?
Yeah.
Reverse and remand?
Yeah, what was the official... They just vacated the sentence? What was the official...
She just vacated the sentence and... she vacated...
You should put a copy of that court order in here.
You know what? You're right. Thanks for that advice. I will put that in there. Yeah.
Just saying. It should be, because that's like a precious document.
Yeah.
You have that thing hung on your wall somewhere?
Nah, but I got it.
You got it framed. You got to frame that thing. Put it over your bed or something.
I actually gave my judge credit in my movie. I gave it thank you in the credits of my movie. Is thank you to her.
Who was the female judge that...
Nancy J. Rosenstengel in the Southern District of Illinois.
All right.
She reversed.
That's
good.
She made a good decision. It wasn't my original judge was gone, and so she took over the case as my new judge, and she was a sweetheart. She did what was right. She let me out.
That's amazing.
And what's crazy is so that judge is looking at that case in 2019, 2020, when they're looking at the case, thinking to themselves, well, you know what? Even if he was guilty of the 100 kilograms, even if he was doing it, the only reason he's in jail right now is because of that. And that is being celebrated across the country
right now.
In this modern
Yeah.
medical and adult use system. How can we possibly keep him in jail? What do you think? Do you think that weighed into? Have you interviewed her? Have you talked to her?
No, I haven't interviewed her, but that was one of my arguments on why I think she should grant my motion.
Right.
Right.
I don't know if she really took that in consideration, but I think she did.
Oh, she had to.
Yeah.
This jury nullification, because I talked to one of the U.S. attorneys in Southern Arizona, and he told me they hadn't taken a case to a jury trial that involved just marijuana in 2 years. That was like in 2022. Because there's no point. It's called like jury nullification is the concept.
Right.
Where even though the jury knows that the law was violated,
they're like, why are we
not
even here?
guilty
Yeah.
because it's just they don't care about the law, and that's a concept that
Just
a lot
cannabis.
of, that happens. So what did you do after you got out? So you served 14. You were in custody for 14 years.
16 years, 6 months, and 1 day.
Boy.
1 day, and you were released into Illinois.
No, I was in a prison in Pennsylvania at the time. The feds shipped
Oh, they
me
bounced
around
you
the
around,
country.
yeah.
And then what did you do next? What did you do when you got out?
They kicked me out, put me on the airplane, flew me to L.A. My mother and sister picked me up, took me, met my daughter, surprised her.
Nice. Was that the first time you ever met your daughter?
Not the first time I saw her, but the first time
You saw her
outside
in
of prison.
person? Yeah.
I think it was a visitation in the federal.
Yeah,
And now what?
when it got full custody of her, and then
Because your mother, you're no longer with the mother at that point because the mother's moved on.
yeah, we weren't together. Her and her mother,
Right.
her mother and I weren't together. No.
Yeah, you didn't have a chance there.
I don't know about not having a chance. Look at me, guys.
This is a man that makes chances happen. You make your own
Not a
chances.
chance at that moment, a chance because 14, 15 years, she's doing other things and she's, living her life and you're stuck in jail.
Here's a weird question. Can this is totally, but like being here at this event with a cannabis event, you know what I mean? Knowing that you how is that? Because I know a lot of guys. I'm really good friends with the guys from 40 Tons. You know what I mean? We've done a lot of work with different brands that are like, nobody should be in jail for weed. You know what I mean? And like they're actively going out there trying to get people's sentences kicked. I don't know if you know Corvain.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so so I'm really good friends with Anthony. Like I've met Corvain a bunch of times. Is there anything you want to say to anybody here? Or are you just like... You know what I mean? Like, because I feel like
I don't know. Who am I talking to? Who's out there?
I don't know. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people that are going to see this, but I mean, just being somebody that was in there. I mean, just let's put it this way, because I feel like it's a full 180. You know what I mean? Like you were here. You know, like you went to jail for weed, you got out, and now you're here at an event for weed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, and it's I feel like it's and this is kind of like it's guys like you. It's this situation. This is the evolution, but it's like you guys were the real pioneers. You know what I mean? Like it's everybody here comes from some sort of legacy. You know what I mean?
How does it make you feel?
How does it make you feel?
To be here with all of these cannabis brands and companies
Right.
and cannabis people, I don't know. I feel a little awkward, to be honest with you.
How come?
I don't know. It doesn't seem like I really fit in. I don't think I've been embraced and accepted by many, because I think what's happening here is you have a lot of entrepreneurs who are here really just to capitalize on an industry that they see that they can squeeze a profit out of.
Right.
And it might be short term, it might be long term, but I think most people are seeing how they can make money off of cannabis now that it is legal, and
Right.
I don't think many of them really consider the past and the harm that was done by the war on drugs.
Absolutely. The war on drugs was the biggest
Yeah.
scam in the world. Like,
Don't chat.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, and I don't think a lot of them really understand that, because a lot of them weren't impacted by it. Their families weren't impacted by it. Their communities weren't impacted by it. And so now they just see an opportunity to make money. And I think that's where the separation is between me and them, and where I could feel a little awkward. And I don't know if a lot of them really have that compassion in their heart to where they really want to understand it. Because at the end of the day, it's like, shit, it don't affect me or my fucking community or family. And I'm here to make some money, you know what I'm saying? And I think that's where the distance and awkwardness comes in at.
It's an interesting relationship. Why did you write the book?
I wrote the book because I didn't know if I was getting out of prison, and that book was a way for me to free myself.
Did you start writing it in prison?
In solitary
Okay.
confinement. It was a way for me to share my story with people who wanted to know more, because when the documentary came out on National Geographic Channel, I started getting mail from people who wanted to know more about my story. They were saying that I was smart. They thought that I didn't belong in prison. But on the other hand, you had a criminal justice system which
Right.
said that I essentially deserved to die in prison and that I was a stupid asshole or whatever. So I wanted to share my story and let people decide for themselves.
And when did the documentary come out?
The documentary came out in 2010.
In 2010. Who made
While
the
you were
documentary?
still in jail.
National Geographic Channel put out the documentary while I was still in prison.
And why did they make the documentary?
Because they said that was one of the most ingenious prison breaks that yeah, I mean, literally. I asked them the same thing. Like, shit, people
So
break
they
out
weren't
of
interested
prison.
in the cannabis.
They weren't
stuff.
interested in anything. They were like, how did you do it?
Yeah.
Okay, so that brought attention to the
Yeah.
Houdini brought attention to the
Read the book.
issue.
Read
Yeah.
the book.
I'm looking forward to watching the movie or reading the book. So when was the movie? The movie's on Peacock, the original
The
film.
movie came out February 2nd
Nice.
This year.
this year.
Dope.
Awesome.
Yep.
And it's on Peacock.
It's on Peacock.
We can watch
Made
it
the
back at the
studio.
place.
Yeah.
We just download it.
I mean, you got to subscribe
Peacock,
to Peacock.
you have to subscribe to Peacock. You know, Peacock is a streaming
You know what's
service.
interesting is just yesterday, weird coincidence, I noticed on my American Express charge thing that I was being charged with Peacock. I didn't even sign up for Peacock. I never heard about Peacock. I didn't
Somebody
understand
in
what
your
Peacock
family,
was.
Your wife, kids.
I don't know, but now I
Somebody
I have
subscribed to Peacock on your card.
I have Peacock. Maybe it was you. Maybe you're playing this moment. One of you guys did that.
Could be.
But that's really, really weird because I don't even watch a lot of movies. I watch like old movies. Doesn't matter. But this is a crazy ass story. This
Yeah.
is you've had a unfortunately interesting journey.
And that's just a very small part of my story. There's so much more.
Who are you working with, like cannabis companies, entrepreneurs out there? Are you working closely with any cannabis companies?
Nah,
Do you want to?
I don't know.
How did you end up here?
Well, Elliot invited me to come
Elliot from
speak.
Benzinga.
From
Yeah, he's
Benzinga.
a cool
Okay.
dude.
Yeah, he
Okay.
gave me a booth and invited me to come speak.
How did he know about you?
A year ago, Jamie, friend of mine, she introduced me via email to Elliot now. She was like, you need to go out there and speak. I'm going to get you to go speak.
Yeah, we can.
She's always an advocate. She's one person in this space who's always like Jamie, Mary from Last Prisoner Project.
Yep.
The guys from the Canadian Securities Exchange.
Mary's a friend of ours.
Yeah, those three people. Richard from the Canadian Securities Exchange field. The Canadian Exchange guys been real good to me. Mary, Jamie, anytime there's an opportunity or something, they just try to get me in there and they support me, like whatever it takes to get me there. And that's how I got into this space to where I'm speaking at cannabis events. Other than that, I never even heard about them. Wasn't paying attention to them. I was focused on producing a movie,
That's what's
raising my daughter,
Right.
who's now 19, and other things. I wasn't even aware of this cannabis movement and space that's taking place.
Well, I definitely think our industry and our community and those who are involved in all the different capacities should embrace
Yep.
your organization, because
Absolutely.
obviously you're going to keep on doing some good work. What is your organization going to be? What's it called
It's
again?
the Chasing Freedom Foundation
Love it.
and
What
the
is-
Mary I Can Youth Foundation.
And what do they do?
Well, the Chasing Freedom Foundation is intended to decrease the prison population by helping get nonviolent drug offenders out, like people in there for cannabis, and also creating opportunities so that kids from at-risk communities don't take the path that leads them to prison. So it's attacking at both ends. And the ICANN Youth Foundation is a youth program that keeps kids off the streets through mentorship and sports.
And now you're now living in LA?
Yes.
Well, I mean, how come we didn't know about him, Eric? So there's lots of resources.
There's a lot of people don't know about me.
Yeah, no, we should. We need to get you out to our network, and we need to help you. You know, people need to understand this journey, because you're one of many that this kind of stuff has happened to, and the big theme in our industry is social justice and social equity and stuff. Nobody really knows what that is, but there's a lot of stories like you out there of people who have been unfortunately trapped in this weird vortex of a war on drugs that's occurred over the last 40, 50, 60 years. And your existence helps bring, your speaking, your presence helps bring attention to what happened. And, for better or for worse, people can do with it what they want. But people should know the history of how that. Some people want to actively help social equity people and try to right the wrongs, right the wrongs from the war on drugs. I get that. Some people don't. They just want to make money. But everyone should know the history of the situation and how things came about, and the fact, and let them do what they're going to do as individuals or companies to support different organizations in different ways. But you being out there is great. So we'll help you get out there more. We'll connect you. We're pretty well connected.
All right, for sure. We're on camera now.
If you're open to it, if you're open to it.
We have a pretty good B2B network.
We do.
And how do people get in touch with you?
They can call me.
Oh, you're one of those guys. Okay.
What's your cell phone number?
661-917-5418. Send me a text. If I don't answer the unknown, say who you are, and I'll call you back.
That's what's up. That is
All right. Well, we should definitely try to connect you to some companies that are going to support your projects. We look forward to getting to know you better. We'll probably invite you out to some of our events to speak. And if you're out there in the cannabis community, this guy is doing some good work, bringing attention to some serious issues. So please reach out to him and read the book, buy the book, download the movie. Do you get financing when the movie gets sold?
Nah.
Do you get a certain rev stream,
the way
rev
it
share?
works is they paid a huge amount of money up front to license it.
Okay.
Right.
And then I'll get more money when I relicense it. But
Fair
as
enough.
far as how many people stream, it doesn't matter. But it can have an impact to just show how well the film is doing by the streams.
That's great.
So when my next project, I can say, hey, look, my film streamed this amount,
What's the next project? Do you know yet?
I have a couple of more. Right now I'm doing a documentary series because the movie's really just about the escape. A lot of people focus on that. Morgan Freeman just did a documentary about that escape that's coming out this summer on the History Channel where he narrates how I escaped. So the documentary series I'm putting together is giving you more. It's giving you my story as a child, how I grew up, what led me to that, and the things that I'm doing now that I'm out of prison and how I really got myself out of prison, the legal aspect, the greatest escape.
Do you have a cannabis company that's paying for the production of that movie?
I haven't received a dime from any cannabis company.
No, but to produce the next segment, this next production.
Are you looking for sponsors?
Of course, I would love to have people get behind, because other than that, I've just been running around scraping and doing it myself independently.
Let's see what we can do.
That's very, very interesting. Wow, this is a good.
Yeah, I think it's a great way to
I mean, these stories are. They're. I used to be a prosecutor. I did a lot of this stuff. In 1998, 2010, and I promise you, most prosecutors don't reflect on the war on drugs and what they're doing. Whatever laws are enacted, we just do what we have to do. But these stories are very important for everyone in the cannabis industry to remember, because there's so many people out there that are just screwed because of this war on drugs, and it's just tragic. I'm almost speechless, because it's like, I tried to, when we had a social equity program in Arizona, I tried to bring attention to the fact that a lot of the people that I was prosecuting were just transporters.
Right.
And those are the people that deserved to be given those licenses, because they were transporting.
They already knew how to do it. Yeah.
I was doing federal stuff.
They already knew how to do it.
In Southern Arizona.
If anything, give them, they know how to operate.
Laws that it could only be the only people who were eligible for the licenses were only eligible if it was something that was no longer illegal. And it's still illegal to transport major loads federally.
Yeah, it's still illegal.
But the U.S. attorneys aren't taking any of those cases into trial. If something like yours, they wouldn't set up somebody like you now.
Yeah.
But if somebody was caught with 100 pounds, they'd be like, you're going to charge you, we're going to plead you out to probation. I'm waiting for criminal defense attorneys to take things to trial and do that jury nullification thing, but everything gets pled out because they'll threaten them with 40 years or probation for 100 pounds. What are you going to do?
Yeah,
You
you're
take
going
the
to
100
take
pounds.
their probation. And take,
They get probation. But
All day.
I look forward to getting you. We'll hang out. We'll chat some more. I got a lot of angles, a lot of people that I'm connected to that we can hook you up with. But people out there on Meat Unshackle Network, if you're watching this, then
Go buy Bosco.
yeah,
Go watch Bosco.
buy the book.
Buy the book.
Buy the book.
Moscow, and watch the movie and get out, reach out, and get in touch with them.
Yep.
And let's help him bring more awareness to what happened before. And again, regardless of how you feel about social justice or the previous, the drug war, this industry has a duty to teach and educate and share. So your story is a really good one. I mean,
For
it's
sure.
not good.
No, it's good.
Sorry.
It's
I feel like you could
perception.
launch an online course on how to break out of
Perception.
jail.
I could.
Yeah.
I also can teach you how to take your misfortunes and
Yeah, and turn it into something. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we will definitely have you back on more Meat Unshackled, and we will definitely help you out on your journey.
Absolutely. This
Appreciate
has been
it.
another episode, and thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Bosco. Appreciate it.
Sure,
Fuck yeah,
appreciate you,
man. This has been another episode of Meet Unshackled here at Benzinga, Miami, 2024.